Alright, what's up guys? So the SPL action is continuing. I got some ORAS this time as opposed to the older gens, which is what most of this will be, but yeah, so we got ORAS here, ABR versus PDC. I would imagine PDC uploads it to his channel sometime in the future, and then imagine probably some other people would, but you know, you can get it here too, so yeah, let's take a look at some of the teams here because we're actually playing a gen with team preview. ABR is bringing a few, not necessarily like uncommon things, but like, well, uncommon, but not never heard of with Gastrodon and Aerodactyl. Some sand balance. It's looking like sand balance with Aerodactyl is actually something that I'm a very big fan of, especially if it's like taunt Roost Aerodactyl with like Stone Edge Ice Fang or Stone Edge EQ or something like that. Like, I think it's very solid. And then PDC's bringing some offense. Mega Zam is what it's looking like. Drill outside sand. Scarf Drill probably. It could be regular Zam and Mega Gyarados. Actually, that's probably more likely from Team Preview, but well, who knows? Who knows? Both of them are equally likely because regular Gyarados isn't bad. But enough of that jibber jabber. We'll go ahead and see what's up. So ABR is gonna lead Talon as gotta slow it down. PDC is gonna lead Azu, and both players decide immediately to go conservative with their switches. ABR going to Starmie to try and take a water move, and then PDC going to Heatran to take a Talonflame attack. And then Crit Scald on the part of ABR breaks Sam's potential Sash, unless it is Mega or Life Orb. Actually, it's more than likely not Sash in this generation. But if it maybe on like the 5% chance I had a Sash, but it doesn't matter because we see Mega, and it is Mega Zam. Probably just gonna fire off Shadow Ball or Signal Beam or whatever he has to hit Psychics. But PDC just predicts the switch right there. Smart play on his part, and just goes for the Sidekick. Does a bunch to Aerodactyl. And because Mega Zam is faster than regular Aerodactyl, ABR has to get out of there. You see Gastrodon come in to deal with the Zam. Means Gastrodon's probably Spadef. And yeah, it takes it. It doesn't take it well. If it gets a special drop, or a Spadef drop rather, been doing a little too much RBY, but if it gets a Spadef drop there, then Gastrodon is not very good, or a crit, which ABR might just be content to trade Gastrodon for Zam, but I kind of doubt it, because Gastrodon does a huge number versus PDC's team, being able to sort of check Azumarill, being able to check Heatran, Gyarados, depending on what the Gastrodon set is, if it's toxic. Actually, Curse might be able to beat Gyarados, I don't know. Excadrill doesn't enjoy it. If it's Ice Beam, Garchomp doesn't really enjoy it. At the same time, though, Mega Zam's definitely the biggest threat to ABR's team. But ABR plays smartly right there, predicts the rocks, is able to go to Aerodactyl, and gets a crit Ice Fang right there. We can assume that that's defensive Chomp, so that Ice Fang definitely mattered. And getting the Garchomp out of the way is really good for ABR because now that frees up Talonflame. I mean, he still has Gyarados with Intimidate and Heatran, but Garchomp is definitely a big thing, but more so than that, now ABR can go to Starmie relatively safely and then spin, and then the rocks can't go up for PDC. So that crit was definitely really lucky for ABR, and that puts him in a very good spot, because now he can just rapid spin and PDC can't do anything about it. He can kill the Starmie here, which means that Azumarill and Gyarados are free. And because it's Mega Zam, it might be natural gifts with, isn't Akaberry the fire one to hit Ferrothorn? I think it's Akaberry. I'm not 100% sure on the whole berry things, but it might be that set to hit Ferrothorn. Just because he has an Azumarill, and then he also has the Mega Zam, so he doesn't need to run Mega Gyarados. But at the same time, he does have a Heatran. But yeah, that crit's gonna come down. That crit, I believe, matters to take out Starmie. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, it doesn't really matter because ABR's need for Starmie, even though Starmie would definitely be helpful, it's a lot less because Garchomp can't set rocks back up. So Hippo comes in. Hippo gets rocks up on PDC's end, which is going to be bad for him. I mean, he does have Excadrill to spin them away, but we can assume that that's Scarf Driller. And Scarf Driller, if it goes for Rapid Spin, is just going to get taken advantage of by ABR's team. And I don't know if PDC necessarily wants that at the same time, though. The residual damage from these rocks are really going to be annoying, and then ABR predicts correctly. Predicts Azure to go for the Play Rough. If PDC predicted Fair, though, he should have gone for Superpower. I mean, maybe he predicted Gastrodon, but I don't know. And then ABR gets Zam. And because of the health that the Hippos, that Hippo can stay in and just EQ. And if Gyarados wants to come in, I don't think ABR has anything to worry about because Hippo is really, really fat. And can just Whirlwind him out because we do see Whirlwind on behalf of the ABR Hippo. But now this gives the Azu a switch in, and ABR's Hippo is definitely physically invested because that Waterfall only does half as ABR at this point is just content to get damage on Azu and just sack it. Or just see what moves it locks itself into and then go to the appropriate switch. And Gastrodon's really safe right here. Because even if PDC wants to go to Gyarados, Gastrodon should be able to take it on. He decides to go to Ferrothorn, though. That can also take it on. Well, with Intimidate, it might be a little more difficult, but PDC doesn't even bother predicting. As, I don't know if he's just given up at this point, or he just wants to sack Azu to try and get a switch to Gyarados. And figures that Gyarados trying to get a DD up is his best chance to win at this point. Even though taking damage from Talon, taking damage from rocks and then being in Talon range is never good. ABR switches directly to Talon right here. Oh boy. And we see the natural gift right here. Oh my god, ABR. Was he actually scouting for the natural gift Fire Berry? So I'm pretty sure it's Aqua Berry. I know that fighting is, I want to say, Lychee or Slack. But I don't think fighting's likely on a Zoom roll. But I would have got bopped by that. I wouldn't have expected anyone to bring that. But especially since you have Heatran, and then I feel like Gyarados is more likely to run that than a Zoom roll. But maybe PDC just doesn't have superpower. Maybe he has that and Power Punch or something. Or no, he can't because he has Waterfall. So Aqua Jet, Play Rough. And then Natural Gift. But ABR, he's in SPL and I'm not for a reason. So he scouts that out perfectly and just looks like a Dawn right there. And then he's just able to kill a Zoomer with the Brave Bird. Gives PDC the switch to Heatran though. Magnastorm misses. Probably doesn't matter because PDC already burned his Power Herb. So Gastrodon is a hard counter to that Heatran. And I don't think ABR has a reason to not EQ here. Maybe he wants to Skull just to get a burn on the switch or assert dominance, but I don't think that's going to be an issue because he's either going to be toxic and deal with Gyarados, and we also see leftovers right there, so it's not any natural gift shenanigans anywhere, any Life Orb, Normal Gem, or whatever they can do. So just standard leftovers, Gyarados for the regular ones. And ABR is probably Curse because that's really the only good set in this gen. And he still has Ferrothorn though, and like I said, because we see leftovers, he's not going to be any natural gift shenanigans. So ABR can just go to Ferrothorn safely, and PDC is hoping he doesn't have Power Whip or something to hurt Gyarados a lot, and he's just trying to DD up and see what happens. But Power Whip doesn't do half, so maybe if ABR misses a little bit and PDC has EQ, because I don't think Crunch will be able to beat the Ferrothorn, or he gets some Crunch drops or Bounce. Yeah, that's what they usually have. If he gets something like a Crit Bear with Bounce, then who knows? If PDC can definitely get lucky, and then if he recovers enough HP back with the leftovers, Maybe it'll stay out of Talon's Bravebird range, depending on what its spread is, if it's a bulkier spread too, so who knows. Bounce comes in to 2 KO. We don't see a para. Can Bounce flinch at all? I don't think so. Either way, it doesn't flinch as power up goes off. Useless crit, but it doesn't really matter, obviously, because power up would have KO'd. And at this point, it's looking pretty good for ABR because Gastrodon and Hippowdon should be able to win the game at this point, even with Hippowdon weakened. So I think ABR can just sack Pharaoh at this point, maybe get like a leech seed on something in case of a miss or whatever, and then just go to Gastrodon and click Earthquake and should be able to win the game. And yeah, Magma Storm misses. That's 0 for 2 for PDC. That sucks for him. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up. Oh, and then he's T-Wave. But yeah, I'm going to put it on fast mode. So that definitely puts the nail in the coffin. He's just going to put a spike down. That spike might matter, though. Who knows? ABR is definitely not messing around. He's trying to play it as best as he can. I don't really think that mattered. The thing that I think really mattered was Arrow's Ice Fang crit on the Garchomp, which prevented PDC from setting up rocks again anytime later in the match, which made Talonflame really scary. And well, outside of Talonflame, because Arrow was being sacked at that point, rocks really weren't a big deal. But the hacks outside of that really wasn't that minimal, and I think ABR just had a pretty solid team matchup, and he played it as bad as well as he could have. I don't think there was any major mistakes on PDC's end either. So pretty solid game. ABR is able to win though, and at the moment ABR is definitely one of the hottest OU players right now. A lot more known for team building than just playing, but he's had some recent success in OLT, and now he's off to a good start in SPL. So like I said, good job to both players, and got another video coming soon. I'm trying to put up a video like every day or something. I got tons of content, so I'll be on the lookout for that. And later, friends.